Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live. This is episode 242 of my show, and I'm so excited to bring this next guest back because this is her fourth time on my show. So she's been on episode 81, episode 159, episode 188, and now she's on 242. So I'm really excited to welcome back to the Vibin with Ashley Live stage a powerhouse pop rock musician Amanda Ayala. So Amanda made her national debut as a standout contestant on NBC's The Voice. Known for her bold vocals and raw storytelling, Amanda made headlines in 2024 after winning the Maine's Viral Open Verse Challenge, which led to a live performance with the band on tour and opening up for Fall Out Boy on a sold out arena show. Her breakout track, Rags to Riches, was featured in Billboard magazine, and her new single, Head and Hearts, is turning heads with the music video dropping last night. So Amanda is ready. Let's bring her to the stage. Hi, Amanda.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Welcome back to my show. As I said earlier, this is your fourth time, so thank you so much for coming on this journey with me.
No, of course. It feels so good to be back. It's like I never left.
I know. I was thinking about because this show is about to hit 5 years in August, which is wild to think about.
That's so crazy.
Wild, but I'm so grateful that I had you on the show. When the show was relatively new, you came on the show, we had good rapport, and now, you come on the show whenever there's something really exciting. And so much has happened these past couple weeks for you.
Yes, the past couple weeks, I feel like I haven't been able to kind of like sit down and relax because it's just been so fast paced. I've been working, run and gun. But it's been fun. It's been a really fun process ever since. So you put out Rags to Riches. I mean, here we go. You had Rags to Riches in my head and hearts.
Head and Hearts. So Head and Hearts actually dropped a couple weeks ago. So I guess bring us up to speed on what's been happening these past few weeks with the single dropping and then the music video dropping last night.
Yeah, so the record came out July 11th. And the process behind that was like a lot of fun. I wrote the song about a year prior, so I kind of had a lot of time to marinate with it. So I was like, I can't wait for this to finally come out. So when it finally did last Friday, the reception was really great because it was kind of an out of character song for me lyrically that a lot of people weren't expecting, especially music arrangement wise too. So the reception there has been amazing. And then we've been kind of promoting it. And then fast forward to last night, we dropped the music video, which was also really kind of crazy to see the likes come in, the comments come in, and just see what everybody had to say and thought about it.
Yeah. And I feel like, and to just kind of shed some light for people watching this, people who, aren't artists themselves, guys, there is so much that goes into getting a record out, the promotion, the mixing, all of this stuff. So like when someone drops a single or a project, it is a huge deal because you're kind of just like, oh my gosh, it's out in the universe. I need to see how it's being receptive now, right? Like how people are handling it.
It's so true. It's one of those things where I always get people are always asking me, they're like, oh, like, do you listen to it? And I'm like, I've listened to it for the past 12 months.
Yeah.
Once it's out, it no longer is mine. It's everybody else's. I've had my time with it. Not that I say I get sick of it because it's when it comes out, but I'm just like, I know it so well, like the back of my hand. I'm like, now it's time for everybody else to kind of learn it and get on board because there is so much that goes in it. It's the production sessions and then it's working on the album art. So all of it literally takes a year, like a year process. Sometimes it can be quicker, but I like to sit on things for a little longer.
Yeah, and I think it's important as an artist, right? Because I feel like sometimes when you're in this artistic space and you're writing things down and you're like, oh, I don't like that it sounds that way, or oh, I should have said it differently, or I should have, you know what I mean? Like there's all these little tiny things. I can only imagine what it's like writing a song and then being like, no, I want to say it this way. Oh, no, I think I'm gonna write it this way. And then I'm like, would be probably a perfectionist about it. So like, how do you like go from not being a perfectionist to being like, okay, like that's final, like this is what it's gonna do and be.
So I guess I feel like I've gotten in this like mojo in terms of like what songs I know I'm actually going to put out because I write I just before we got on here, about an hour before, I just wrote another song. So it's like, and it's kind of one of those things where if I can write 90% of the song, and this is like a telltale for me, in about an hour, because I wrote Head and Hearts legitimately in probably an hour. I wrote my previous Rex to Riches all within like a short time frame.
Mhm.
So when I know that I've got that mojo flowing in that time frame where I can get bulk of the song, that's kind of when I know the song is meant to be released. And then I kind of will sit on it for a little bit, and it's kind of, I'll tweak things here and there, but 90% of the time I try and just let it be, because I was like, I felt it in that moment for the hour. Maybe tweak a line here and there, but try not to overthink it. 4 months down the line, trust the process and trust the mental space that I was in when I
Yeah.
first wrote it in the first place.
I like what you said, trust the process, and it's so important, right? It's like trust yourself in that moment. Like, this is what I was feeling that moment. Don't go back to it like months later and be like, oh hey, I have this idea now, right? Like, just kind of live with it in the moment and be like, this is what it is. That's how I wrote it at the time, and like, let's not even touch it.
It's true because my mindset, like when going into writing, it's like here I was writing this like kind of like upbeat, seductive kind of record. And I'm like in that mode where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm vibing. And then fast forward maybe even a week later, let's say I'm a little bit more angry or I'm a little bit more sad, and then I
Yeah.
try and rework on it. My emotions are completely different and I'm in a completely different mind space. And then I'll try and like then alter the mood of what it was originally supposed to be like.
Yeah, because you can come back to it, right? And you're just like, oh, now I feel differently about it, or I want to add another verse, or like I need to change that line a different way.
Exactly. So I mean, and don't get me wrong. Like there was a couple lines that I switched in with this. It wasn't like I wrote it and then it was what I wrote the first pass was what came out. But
Yeah.
here and there, there's little tweaks. But to the bulk of the song, 90% of it, what stays is what was written in the first session.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so this song is obviously very raw, unapologetic. What was the moment or feeling that triggered the idea for the song?
So honestly, I try and write lyrics first, but I feel like it also doesn't work for me. I need some type of like music behind it to feel like inspired.
Hmm.
And for a long time, I had always said that I wanted a record that had that the drum beat that Head and Hearts has. It's kind of like that, like just that kind of swing beat. And I feel like because anytime I hear it, it always gets me moving.
Hmm.
So I was just kind of sitting down one day and I kind of messed around with that beat, and then I had like the synth pad over it, and I was really feeling it, and I don't even know where it stems from, but the first line came out. It was like everything's been changing lately, brand new flavor I've been craving, and I kind of don't even know where that came from, but it
Yeah.
just like felt like in the moment I was like, oh, this is something, and I really started to feel it really kind of all fall into place. So it's definitely the beat is kind of what the drum beat is kind of what started and steamrolled the
Hmm.
rest of the song.
I love that because I feel like sometimes people do lyrics first and then the instrumental comes behind it. But to hear that and just kind of feel a certain way and then have it flow as easily as it did is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it was really different because normally sometimes too I'll have a guitar. Like it was strictly drums is what drove the song for me. That syncopated beat is kind of what drove the song for me.
So, okay, so now we're going to get into some of these lyrics. So, the line, I'll text you, I miss you while I'm in his bed is a mic drop moment. was there was there any hesitation about being that vulnerable?
Definitely, no, there definitely was that I was kind of like afraid to like when I finished it. I was like, I always show like my mom and my brother like my stuff when I first write things, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should show you guys this. But yeah, there was definitely that moment when I was writing it, and I was like, oh, this could be a little too much, or this could because I thought it was like really out of character for me too.
Yeah.
But that's part of the songwriting process, is kind of allowing yourself to kind of be vulnerable and kind of take those chances lyrically and storyline wise. I kind of was just like, you know what, we're gonna let this line roll.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting when you're like, I didn't know what I was going to think. It's kind of out of character for me, but you leaned into it and you're like, but that's it though.
It's true, and I think one of the biggest things too, because a lot of people, like my friends in particular, they were like, "Man, what?" They were like, "You got to spill a little bit more tea behind the song." But it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't want to like portray that I like cheated, but it's really, it's like where in personal sense, it's like where I was with a certain person. I like my mind just like knew that they weren't the one, and so my mind kind of did start to wander and kind of picture what life could look like with someone else, and that was kind of the telltale sign like this person was actually not right for me.
Yeah.
And it's almost like mentally cheating is where this the song kind of then just wrote itself, because I was like, I felt guilty
Mhm.
for thinking that, and then it kind of just then spiraled into this like seductive cheating anthem that I didn't
Yeah.
even anticipate. Once I finished it, I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy.
But that's just like where you felt in the moment and like what it came to be.
It's, yeah, it's true. Like I like, and it really kind of wrote itself within the hour. Once I started, it was kind of like it was all those like mental guilt feelings that I like was having, that I just was like, all right, let me just write it down, and then just kind of like no regrets, just write it and see where it goes.
Yeah. And it's kind of like for people that aren't artists, it's like journaling, right? And it's kind of just like that's what I felt in the moment, in that moment. Not gonna erase it, not gonna touch it. It's just that's what it was.
Exactly. I'm like, you can't, I mean, you can question it, but at the same time, I'm like, this is where it was. This is where
Yeah.
the storyline kind of took it. A lot, I mean, like a lot of it sometimes too. It's like, there's songs. It's just like television shows, movies, you fabricate things and you pull from different inspirations
Right.
and things like that as well. So that's kind of where I was in that mindset. So you put yourself in a mindset also of like a character or of the storyline, like, oh, this would fit, this rhyme scheme would fit, certain words fit this word better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can only imagine if you wanted to rhyme something or if you were trying to convey a certain part and you're like, okay, well, that part isn't really true, but it fits a little bit better.
Exactly, exactly. Like, I mean, especially, like I text you, I miss you while I'm in his bed. Like, like it worked. Like that definitely, it didn't happen, but it worked for, and it worked mentally too. So I was like, that it works for the scheme.
And I feel like some people have done that, so it's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad.
People are like, I've been there.
Been there, hopefully not done that.
So there's a real emotional push and pull throughout the song, desire versus guilt, passion versus responsibility. How did you channel those emotions while writing and recording it?
It was kind of because I remember being in this like conflicted place,
Mm-hmm.
like for a good while, and like literally like my head and my heart were kind of like genuinely in two different places at the time. Like, and I was like, I was like, this he checked all the boxes, like we had so many similarities,
Mm-hmm.
but in the same regard, like something just always felt off. And so like that's kind of where I feel like I was really able to pull true emotions out of it, because I really felt conflicted and I felt like I was doing something wrong. And I feel like, not to say in my past stuff I'm not able to pull from that, but I was like genuinely really conflicted at the time I recorded it. So it kind of just the true emotion kind of conveyed when I recorded it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like probably after you recorded it, right? There's probably that feeling of I'm so happy I was able to get this out.
Absolutely. I always get nervous going into the studio too, because I'm like, when I wrote it, again, like we talk about not changing the lyrics, like when I wrote it, I was in this mental place. And then I'm like, okay, when I record it now, months later, I got to kind of put myself back in that spot. And that's kind of what I do. Like when I go in and record, it is just me and my producer, Mark. It's just two of us. And it's like, he always keeps the vibes cool. It's like dimmed lights, he's got candles lit. Like it allows me to kind of really lock in on in the creative process and kind of really hone in the emotions of whatever I'm singing about.
Mm-hmm. And I like that. Yeah, you were in the space when you wrote it, and then you got to get back to that space, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like being an actor and being like, okay, I got to get into character to like be where I was in that moment.
Exactly, exactly. And I feel like sometimes I have struggled even when I go to like re-record a demo just to go back and like I'm like, oh, this doesn't sound the way that it did when I first wrote it. So that's kind of like a struggle that I have to. I also at the same time when I book studio time, I'm like, well, I'm booked. I gotta lock in.
Yeah, and it's like I think as an artist, the creative lock-in is so important, right? Because you need to make sure you're mentally preparing for that. Like, yes, vocally and all these other things, but like you need to be in the right mindset to go there. So how do you get to that mindset?
A lot of the times, I mean, Yeah, I feel like this is the biggest thing. I hurt my own feelings a lot of the time when I'm trying to really get in my feels. Like I'll reread texts that will might hurt my feelings or put me in this like emotional state, or like I don't know, I'll like look at a video, or I'll just think of
Yeah.
things that might make me mad, might make me sad, and just kind of trigger any sort of emotional conflict before going in. Maybe not in the studio itself, but like definitely when I'm in the car beforehand, or like an hour before, like try and like, and I don't listen to music before I go and record either. Like
Hmm.
I only listen to the song, or just I kind of like the car rides down into the studio, it's silence. I know that's kind of like
Yeah.
a weird thing, but it's just like allow myself to kind of sit in my head.
I like that though, because sometimes if you listen to other music, it could kind of distract you and maybe put you on a path to something else. But I think being in that silence as well as reading those texts, like you're getting mad again and you're like, oh, okay, this is where I was.
It's so yeah, I will say I'm really guilty of it. Like that's something I still do. I have to stop. I still read texts sometimes, and I'm like, oh, even when I'm not recording a song. So like I'm
Yeah.
like, it's good and it's bad at the same time.
We're all guilty of looking at a text 47 times and being like, should I have said that? Why did that person say that? Was that mean? Was it like, what was like, that's the thing with texts, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if it's mean, you don't know if it's sarcastic, is it nice? Like, I don't know what the tone is behind it.
Yeah, that's like modern day. That's like our kryptonite. Like you can't read into tones. You can't read if someone's having an attitude or if you had one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the worst day of communication.
Yeah, the way I look at it, I'm just like, okay, I'm like, oh my God, Tuesday at 7 p.m., I said the weirdest thing. And like that person will probably never think about it, but I'm like, I shouldn't have said it like that. Like that was really bad. And I'm like, don't even think about it. You can't do anything, even what you did an hour ago. Like you can't change it. So just let it be. And it is what it is.
It's so true. I mean, especially for me, like I'm a chronic overthinker, so I'm like, oh, I got to turn that off sometimes. Got to turn the brain off.
Yeah, but it makes, as an artist, it makes for a very good storytelling, right? Because like you're being triggered by these different, a lot of emotions, right? Like when you're in a relationship, you feel anger, revenge, happiness, excited. Like, where is this going to go? There's all these emotions that you're feeling in these relationships, and you can feel 7 different emotions at one time. And it's just kind of trying to channel them. And honestly, I think some of the craziest songs and best songs come out of the struggle.
100%. I agree with that. It's kind of like I say this, not that I like want to jinx myself or things like that. Like I always say, like I was due for like a good heartbreak to then just like keep the materials rolling. But then once it happens, then you're like, maybe I shouldn't have wished for that. But it is true though. Like when you feel so deeply, that for at least for me as an artist or anybody in general, like it's just like that is the best for me. This is like the best outlet that I can use. Like if I'm genuinely, when the emotions overload, this is like where I can allow myself to just fully engulf and release those emotions. And I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's like you go through things and then you write it out. And but the crazy thing about it as an artist is it's not just like you're writing it down and like you put it away on a bookshelf. Like you're actually in the studio recording and it comes out your mouth, which is totally different. Like it's kind of like when you go to therapy and you say it. Like when you say certain things and you're like, whoa, I can't believe I just said that. Like I've never said that in real life. Like it sounds different when I say it versus when it's going on in my head.
It's so true, and I always say that too. Like when I'm writing and when I'm actually like getting ready to release something, or I'm like, it's a really I always say it's like probably the most vulnerable thing because I'm like, here I am writing something like somebody would might maybe write their emotions in their notes and no one will ever see it again. Here
Yeah.
I am writing what goes on in my mind, how I feel, and then I'm like, hey, here's how I was feeling for thousands of people. Like, here's my most vulnerable feelings of heartbreak, anger, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, and now they're all on display for you to interpret. So it is like a really vulnerable
Yeah.
part of it too.
Yeah, yeah, no, I applaud you for doing that. I applaud any musician that does that because I was like, there is no like I want to write it down, I want to forget it, and
Yeah.
make sure nobody sees that. You know what
I always say though, I think too, once I release it, like if I'm not over something, I mean, it's because I will say it takes me a while to get over things.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that like I'm like, okay, if I just write until I can't feel anything anymore about the situation. And then I release it. Like I say, no longer is mine. I no longer have this like attachment towards it. It's kind of like this feeling where I officially, once it's out, I actually get to like let go of those emotions. So like once it's out to the public, I'm like, I feel like I can breathe, and I'm like, okay, maybe now I can start to move past and move forward.
Yeah, and it's like that clean slate of just like, okay, I've gone through it. I mean, especially you wrote it last year, so you've had 12 months to just kind of like sit sit with it, and
Exactly, exactly. No, definitely over it now, but for sure. And now it feels even more like I'm like, okay, now.
yeah. But is it weird, like when you hear it, do you still kind of just those emotions kind of are they like you're like, oh my God, like I can't believe what I was feeling at that point. Like, does it go back to that, or is it just kind of like it's out in the universe, it is what it is, like I feel disconnected from it?
It's a little bit of both. Like sometimes I guess it really depends on like when I'm listening to it, because like
Yeah.
if I'm just like listening to it in the background, probably don't even think twice about it. But when I'm actually like listening, like a lot of times when I'm by myself in the car, like when I do like re-listen to my own work, I'm like, wow, like I was going through this. Like I'm the one who put this out. Like it kind of like it brings me back into those emotions sometimes too. But then I'm just like, okay, like lessons and blessings is how I look at it. And so
So you dropped the music video last night. Massive congrats. I absolutely loved it. I mean, you're in the car, you're being interrogated, you're in jail. Like, there's so much going on here. What was the concept behind all those visuals, and how did you want it to complement the story and the lyrics?
So I think the biggest thing I always kept saying was like how I guess guilty I was feeling. One for writing the song, two for like the context of what the song is about. Like the song is about not saying I'm a cheater. I'm not. I just to set it out
Put it
there,
out there. This is
put it
this.
out there to the people. I'm not
I
a cheater. um, but the song is about, the song is that's what the song storyline leads to. And for the longest time, I don't know why, but like I thought of like feeling like a criminal. Like I was like, oh, this is like feels like a criminal act in my head.
Mhm.
And this is where I do my thinking on the treadmill. Um, but I was walking on the treadmill and I'm listening to the song over and over, and the music video idea just kind of hit me, and I was like, I think this would be really cool if I was like on the run for like deceit, heartbreak,
Yeah.
emotional distraught. And that's when I really then came into the studio, sat down for like hours and just started like writing and planning and prepping for the video shoot and for it to become what it became, what was
Yeah.
dropped yesterday. A lot of work went into it, but like I think the video process has become one of my favorite aspects of showing what I see in my mind
Mhm.
for the song and giving it to people.
Yeah, it's very cool to have a visual behind all of it because right, I feel like when we hear a song, you think of a certain thing or of a certain person or situation, but when you have the visual aspect of it, and especially how it started where you're on the couch and like you're watching the news, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then like then the car, you're in the car, you get pulled over, and I was like, oh, I love this. This is like a mini movie.
That's really like what I tried to make it as.
Yeah.
And I always say too, like something a lot of people don't know is like I have like background in like film production. Like that's something that if I wasn't doing music, like video production, it would be like what I would engulf myself in.
Mhm.
But that was the number one thing. I was like, I want to make this feel kind of like a hit and run movie. And I was like, what's the best way possible? And I couldn't do it without the gracious. And it's funny, fun fact: the news reporter in the first scene is actually my brother.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I told him, I was like, I'm gonna need you. I was like, I'm gonna need a news reporter. So we brought some family members in to be a part of it too.
Nice. So I guess tell us some other behind the scenes as to like what happened in the music video, like good, bad, like give us the scoop.
So it was in total we shot for 7 days, which was like the longest days, not like 7 12-hour days, but it was 7 full days, like 7 days of shooting. And we shot it completely backwards. We shot all the jail and detective scenes first out in a studio in Long Island, which was which threw me off because it I was trying to like envision the video in my head, but filming it backwards was like so not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. That was just me and my bass player as actually one of the videographers who filmed it with me. It was just him and I. I told him, I said, we're going to get a little sassy with the jail scenes. And he was totally on board. And then fast forward a week later, we did the arrest scenes, which was like a lot of fun. My great friend Nick filmed for me. He was the cop.
Yeah.
So there was like, honestly, it all kind of blurs together because if I had to get in that red outfit one more time, I was going to go crazy.
You're like, oh my gosh, 7 days. Oh my gosh, this is so intense.
Every time I was steaming that red outfit, and I was like, I cannot wait to never wear this again.
Yeah, you're like too much. But now that it's out, right? And because I mean, I can only imagine what it's like filming these scenes over and over and then editing and everything like that. But I do like that you have the film production background just because then you can kind of be in the creative process. Whereas some people just film something and they give it to like a team of people and they edit it and do whatever they want. But like, it's like, you know what you want it to look like and you help edit it and it's like you're passionate about it.
Absolutely, and that's something too. Like I feel like I'm more hands on, maybe than some people say I should be.
Yeah.
But it's because it's like not to say I'm a control freak, but I see things the way that I want them in my head, especially like even when I'm writing and even when it comes to the video, like I see it. So like when directing this, like seeing certain shots, like I was watching them behind the camera and I was like, oh, we got to get it from this angle. Like it was just like I was like totally hands on because I knew like when this video was going to come out, like I knew I wanted to be like, yeah, I was fully involved in this because it's something I was so proud of. And I'm super proud of the work that everybody else put into it. My great friend Em Spano filmed it with me and Thomas Hogan, who are also my band members as well. So it's like it's a
Yeah.
tight knit team.
Yeah, I love what you said though about being hands-on. I think it's important to be hands-on, and I think some people sometimes pass things on to other people because they're like, ah, I just want you to edit it, whatever. But I like that you love this, you're hands-on with it, like you want to be in control of it because it is your vision, and it's like it's your song, it's your lyrics, it's you're in the video, right? So it's like you want to be hands-on with it, which I love.
Exactly. And sometimes too, like even when I'm editing, like if I hand it over to someone else,
Mhm.
there might be a shot that like they might like more than I like, and they might have a different vision than what I have. So if I'm sitting here on the computer behind me and I'm the one editing it, I get literally full control over which shot, which take, which pose, like gets to get used. And I know it's a lot of work on top of like, having to do the marketing behind the song, but like and editing obviously it takes hours on end. But at the end of the day, I can say at least I put the time in, and it's the shots and it's the cut lists that I want. And it's what makes the cut. So it's definitely it's a rewarding process once it's all finished.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how many hours that takes, and you're looking at the same shots. You're like, oh my gosh, I like that pose more than that, and no, we like this over here, and it's just a lot of editing and cutting, and you know, how do I want it to look, kind of thing.
After I was making edits maybe 4 hours before the video launched. That's how like I was switching little scenes here and there, and I was just like, okay, I need to say that this is the final version. Like I had at least 10 different exports of the video.
Oh wow, wow. Well, I mean, it came out amazing. I mean, it's been in the universe for 24 hours, a little over 24 hours at this point. It came out 6 p.m. yesterday. So, what kind of feedback are you getting from the music video, from the song? Like, what are people saying to you about it?
People, I mean, I will say the reception has been really, really great. Like people loved the video. Like, I mean, people like they love to see a visual,
Yeah,
like you said, what comes with it. And people are like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe, like they were saying the same thing. It felt like I was watching a movie.
yeah,
I'm so engulfed in the Amanda Cinemaverse. But another thing that like over the past 48 hours, and again, the song was released on the 11th, but for the past 48 hours, I've been checking my Spotify artists intel page, and the algorithm on Spotify is just I can't even fathom it. They're pushing this song so hard. And I almost just within the past 48 hours, I don't know what's happening. Like the streams have spiked. Um People, I'm being put in people's Discover Weeklies, and it's like so it's getting out there to more people. Not that I say that I anticipated, but just Spotify is doing its thing for me, which I'm really grateful, and they're pushing it in their algorithm, and I couldn't be more thankful. And the streams are just like now, a week and a half later, starting to really spike, which is really cool to see, and it's definitely a very gratifying and rewarding feeling. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I actually hear a lot of people say to me, they're like, oh my gosh, Spotify, like nobody can find my music. And so for you to be on the other side of the spectrum and you're like, people are pushing it, people are putting it in Discover Weekly, it's going on playlists. Like, I love to hear that because I think there's so much music on Spotify, right? It's just like, we can't ever hear all the music that's going to be on the platform. And I love that people are discovering, people are sharing, they're loving it. Like, and it's only been out a short time. The music video came out last night, but I love that the receptions, people are like telling you they love it and just like telling more people about it.
Me too. Like it was when I checked last night, I looked at like my artists to see like the live tracker to see like there was like dozens of people listening at like 11 o'clock last night. And I'm like, all of you people are listening like right now. Like I not to say I couldn't get over it, but I was like, man, I was
Yeah.
like, this is really cool. This is really crazy. And to hear that people are like resonating with it, or like even to be honest with you, they don't even need to like resonate or feel something deeply with it. They could just like it and have a good beat and dance along to it too, which makes me gratified too. Because even when I listen to it, it gets me up and moving, and that's what it's supposed to do too. So even if you might not like the message, but if it gets you up on your feet and you can tap your feet and dance along to it too, I'm okay with it too.
Yeah, yeah. But tell a friend to tell a friend. You got to watch the music video, add it to your Spotify, listen. Like, it's a phenomenal song. And I love that you've been getting so much good feedback from it in just such a short time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's definitely and I always say I couldn't do it without like there's so many people behind the scenes. So like it might say Amanda Ayala on the record, but so many people are involved in that creative process too. Like I have my incredible bandmates that we get to play it with live. That's Spano, Tom, Ronan now, and my producer Mark. There's so many hands that are involved in it. So I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So I'm very grateful. And my family.
Yeah, shout out to all the amazing people behind the scenes that nobody really sees, but they are the ones just like making everything happen.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a team effort at the end of the day. Like I said, it might say my name on the song, but it really is a team effort that goes into everything, into every aspect, whether it's from posts to videos to X, Y, and Z.
So, okay, so the bridge, catching on fire, we're burning too fast is like a breaking point. So, what were you trying to express in that moment?
I think it's like you said, it's kind of that like tipping point where you're starting to see this other person, and the other person, like this other emotional affair, as you may call it, is really starting to kind of take over, and now that your head and your heart are really starting to weigh on you, because at the end of it it's like, don't know how much longer I'll keep up the act, because it's almost like weighing too much on you, and that's kind of like the exploding
Hmm.
moment where you're like, okay, I have to come clean with my actions.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so how does Head and Hearts reflect where you are now, personally, musically, and or emotionally?
I will say I think this song in particular is definitely most, I don't know. I wouldn't say this is definitely the most different song I think I've put out
Mhm.
in terms of like genre wise. So I can't say that like the next song is going to be very similar. It's going to be in this synth wave aspect, but I will say it's a song that like I genuinely was involved, like appreciative of. I loved the creative process to it. So it, it's kind of tough because I will say it's where I am musically, but I already know like the next song that's coming out
Yeah.
is polar opposite of this one.
Hmm.
Um, so that's why I'm like it's who I am right now as like the summer season of me, and that's how I think I can say like that it's resonating with me. Come fall, you might see a different side of me too. So right now, this is summer Amanda that you're listening and hearing from.
Yeah, and I think it's important as an artist that you lean into what speaks to you and not just be known as like, oh, I only do rock or I only do pop or whatever it is. It's like you kind of have to just go with that moment and speak what speaks to you, and the right people will follow and support.
Exactly, yeah, because I've gotten like a lot of people, like even some people that I've seen, they're like, "Man, this one's really different for you." Like, "Oh, this song sounds really like out of left field," and I'm like, "It's." I wouldn't say it's completely out of left field because like I do have like pop records out. Like this one really kind of hones into that. Like this is definitely my most upbeat, dancier record.
Mhm.
So it is different, but it is something that like I wouldn't be surprised if I put another record out like this somewhere down the line too. So it's like, it's because it's fun. I'm a lover of a good pop record. So if I
Yeah.
can continue to do that, I will continue to do it. And if I feel it in the moment, that's when it'll come out as well.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see what's coming down the pipe because I know you said you just did a song earlier, right?
Yeah, I was just writing before, I was just demoing, and then I'm going into the studio Sunday for another record.
Amazing. Well, I feel like there's just so many fun things coming up with you.
Yeah, so this summer has been really, really busy. It's been fun. I have a show uh August 23rd at the Big Lawn Music Festival up in Poughkeepsie. So we've
Nice.
been like keeping really busy, and I've been trying to like I don't know, since March. I've had this like new lease and new kick on productivity where I literally haven't left the studio, and I just feel like I've been just trying to write and just write, release, and perform. So that's kind of been on the agenda literally for the past like 6 months.
Awesome. So I guess what is a typical day like in the life of Amanda?
A typical day. I mean, I'll give you a rundown of like today because this is pretty much how some of the days go. I
Yeah.
started my morning really early, which is not that typical. I was at the gym at 6:30 this morning.
Good for you.
Yeah, so we try and get the physical fitness done, physical fitness out of the way first kind of thing in the morning. And then secondly, it's like I will like today I had to come downstairs, I had to sit, I had to do marketing, I had to kind of look the boring stuff, had to look at analytics between like social media posts and like kind of content plan for what's to come next. Um, and then another thing is I will sit in here and write. Writing takes right after that. Writing might take me in 2 hours, 3 hours, depending if I'm like hashing out things or working on multiple demos. Um, and then from here we went live and then let's just say on another night I have rehearsal tomorrow night. So it's just music 24/7, and it really different sprouts of energy come, and I could be recording a demo, and then all of a sudden my mind will say, okay, now you need to film a content video, and then I'll just pack it up and then I'll film a content video. So it's really scattered.
Never a dull moment. There's always something going on.
My brain doesn't ever turn off. It just ping pongs back and forth with different things to do.
Yeah. Also, kudos to you because I personally am not a morning person. So anybody who does the gym in the morning, like early, early, love that. Wish I could get on that kick. Like for real.
It's because sometimes because I know I have like a lot that I want to do throughout the day, and if
Mhm.
the later it gets in the day, the more I know I'm not gonna want to go. So I'm like, I gotta get it in, and then once it's in, I can enjoy the rest of my day, do what I have to do.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of like that reset. It's like I just was at the gym, so now it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm good. Like I have all the energy I need.
I say, I'm like, I have a whole day ahead of me too.
Love that. So how did it feel opening up for a sold out Fall Out Boy arena show, especially thinking back to where your journey started on The Voice?
That had to have been probably one of the like the craziest moments. I don't know if you can even see it. I have the actual poster back in this little corner. Let me see if I can move it. That's
Oh,
the that's the show poster back there.
yay! That is amazing.
But that genuinely, it still almost doesn't feel real because I remember seeing when the main posted on TikTok that they were having like hey, we're having an open verse challenge. Like, want the chance to perform with us in an arena,
Yeah,
opening for Fall Out Boy. And
yeah.
in my mind, I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but that's not gonna happen. And then I sat with it for like a day, and then I was like, you know what? Why don't I just try? Like, let me just sit and see. If nothing comes out and I can't write anything, then I don't post it. Then I don't do it. So then I sat I sat right here. I wrote down on my pen and pad, and I was just kind of writing, and I kind of did my typical thing. And then I ended up writing it, and I actually really loved what I wrote for the open verse. It's kind of one of my favorite verses I've probably ever written, and it's a shame that it's technically not mine anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but then I was like, okay, I was getting ready to go on a ski trip. So I was like, let me just film. I wasn't thinking. I was just like not even I was thinking I'm not gonna get it. I was like, let me just film this, get it on TikTok, and just kind of hope for the best and do away with it. I post it, a week goes by, then I go on another ski trip, and I know I'm like, okay, they're gonna announce the winner. And
Mhm.
I'm coming home from Canada. I'm sitting on this 8-hour car ride with my two bandmates in the front seat. And then all of a sudden, bing, I get tagged. Congrats, Amanda, you won Open Bars. You're going to be, performing with us in Austin, Texas. And that, I remember just yelling in the car. I remember being like, there is no way that something that I just didn't think I could win is now going to take me and perform in the biggest place I've ever a place that you dream of performing at, and especially opening for Fall Out Boy too. It was surreal, absolutely surreal.
Crazy. I wonder how many people you were up against. Like how many
That's the
other.
thing. I checked out all this, and then that's the thing too. It was like, not to say you compare yourself, but it's like you're viewing other people's submissions. Like there was tons of submissions, and I don't know exactly how many, but I was
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, this person's amazing, this person's amazing. I'm not gonna get it, just because self doubt creeps in, and
right.
just to know that what I wrote, not only did my voice get me there, but like my lyrics got me there too. So that was like an extra rewarding feeling, not only just singing, but like knowing that like lyrics that I put pen to pad is what won me as well.
Yeah, and that's so exciting. I mean, massive congrats, especially when I love when artists do stuff like that and they're like, "Oh, hey, you can open for us on tour, you could do this," or, I love when bigger artists have cool things like this and they put on smaller artists because, right, like some of these people that we're mentioning, they tour all over the world and they have such a fan base and like when you collab with another artist, especially of that caliber, you're in front of their fans and people like and you get to see them and it's just like and then when you're having those days of self-doubt and you're like oh my gosh like I opened for Fall Out Boy like that's wild like yeah I mean I feel like you have to kind of like say those things to yourself so you can remember like this is why I keep doing what I'm doing is because like I'm good at it and like I just have to like stay focused and just be ready for anything that's about to pop off, you know what I mean?
It's so true. Like we said, like earlier, like trust the process is the best way that you can do it when it comes to that too. Because like self doubt creeps into me all the time. Like I have been singing and performing under like my name for quite a long time now. And so like self doubt really creeps in sometimes. And moments like that, or like you said, or where I kind of have to check myself back in to be like, okay, like you are capable, like you can do this. Look at the accolades that you've been grateful enough to have. So it's like you have to take those for granted. And you don't want to take those for granted, is what I meant to say. And you
Yeah.
want to just kind of keep persevering and kind of keep pushing yourself because you know the capabilities that you can do.
Yeah, and it just like keep on going and like I love that you did it, you submitted it, you kind of just didn't even think about it, and then they were like, "It's you, Amanda."
Because you know what I say too, especially like online concert, like online contests and like even giveaways on Instagram. I don't win anything. I will enter every giveaway there is. I don't win anything under the sun. So like when I saw that, I was just like, oh, I was like, I literally I could not believe it, and I was so excited, and especially like I mean, don't get me wrong, if it was like right in New York, that would be amazing. But I was like, okay, now I get to go to Texas. Like I get to fly out to Texas, go to a different state, perform with the main and then open for Fall Out Boy. It was just like
Yeah,
such a surreal moment.
amazing. So, have you ever been to Austin before?
I had gone my cousin lives in Austin, so she had her wedding in Austin. So I went there for the first time a couple years ago, and then just to go back there now for like work, quote unquote, but like singing in an arena,
Yeah,
crazy. I was watching some of the names that were coming through there. Like the night before, I think Dan and Shay were there. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, huge artists are
yeah,
performing here. And I was like, and literally I am touching the stage to a sold out arena. I was like, it's not my show, but
yeah.
I'm on stage for it. I was like, I couldn't have asked for anything more.
I know. And then you're like one of however many people applied and submitted their video. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to know how many people you were up against though, because it's got to, who knows, hundreds, thousands, probably thousands. You know?
It's true. I always wonder that too. Like I would always like try and count through cross platforms, but I was like, I'm gonna lose count. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I just gotta be grateful I won and take it with that.
Exactly. So that just goes to show that you never know. I know you said you never win anything, but just apply because you never know who's going to see it, and believe in yourself because like I just feel like when stuff comes into your life, you need to just accept it like it was meant for you to do that. It was meant for you to go to Austin and have, that big moment.
Absolutely. And I will say it was meant for me, not to say it was meant for me to enter, but like I said, like I passed the TikTok, closed out of it, and then it came back up again, which doesn't happen ever. It came
Yeah.
back up again a couple hours later, and I was like, okay, I gotta enter it. I was like, this
Yeah.
is a sign I need to enter.
That's the universe saying like, Amanda, come on, do it and submit it, and then you hope that you're the one.
If you're not in it, you can't win it. So
I love that. That's great.
yeah.
Love that. So I know you had like a crazy couple of months, and I know you have the show you said in August in Poughkeepsie.
Yes, at the called the Big Lawn Music Festival.
Amazing. So what's the date on that?
That is August 23rd, and we go on at 5:10.
Amazing. So what else does your summer look like? I only feel like we have a couple weeks left for this. Is wild.
It's really, really crazy. I'm like, I feel like summer was here and now it's gone. Like 4th of July it's crazy to think that that was how many weeks ago already.
I know. No, I know. Because I remember when we were talking because you told me your single was going to come out, and I was like, oh yeah, your single's been out like a couple weeks. You're like, no, it's only been out for like 2. I was like, oh, I thought.
Well, technically, no, because my concept of time is just all over the place as well. When summer time comes around, I don't know when anything is.
Yeah. So okay. So the festival in August. Do you have any other shows coming up in the next few months?
So we're planning right now. We are in the booking process. Now we have nothing announced yet, but we have a couple private events in October. But we're starting to do our fall plan outs because I'm going in the studio Sunday, so we're starting to really prep the next rollout of the release. And right now, the rest of the summer kind of is to package Head and Hearts. Keep trying to push that as much as possible without like overloading people too. I want it to feel organic and. But I'm gonna, kind of keep this press tour up with Head and Hearts, recording a sad one coming up next. And then I'll kind of work on that promotional process, shows and etc. to be announced.
Amazing. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh, when's the next single coming out? Because you were just working on it.
I know, and that one I wrote the next one. I wrote it this past March, so a little shorter of a turnover time.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Amanda, that's pretty much all the questions I have for you. But do you have anything else you want to add? Anything you want to push? Anything you want to tell the beautiful people?
I guess to start, I want to say, thank you again for having me on the show. It's crazy to think that I've been on here now 4 times, and time is flying. That's crazy to think. So I want to thank you first for having me back on the show and for having me be able to kind of talk about and kind of dive deeper into Head and Hearts. And I want to thank everybody that's been streaming, has shared the song, and has hopefully resonated with you, made you move, because that means the absolute world to me. That's the biggest thing that I want. I want my music to touch people. I want people to feel good when they listen to my music. So if I've done that in any way, shape, or form, I feel gratified. So thank you to everybody who's listened, streamed, shared, and has followed along throughout the years. And if you're new, welcome aboard.
Yeah. Where can the new people find you, Amanda?
You can find me on literally every single social media known to man. I am on Facebook under Amanda Ayala Music, Instagram Amanda Ayala Music, as well as YouTube, same handle, and Twitter, or X, which I don't use, but I'm on there, which is Amanda X Ayala as well.
Amazing. Well, once again, I just want to say thank you because, like I said, coming on the show 4 times and agreeing to come back on the show, right? Like I was even telling you earlier, like I'm very picky about who I let on my show, and I love when someone wants to come back on the show. And gotta be honest, we need to have a connection for you to come back. And of course, you're absolutely amazing. It's not even really an interview; it's more just like talking with a friend. So I really appreciate just your honesty and your vulnerability and your creativity. And I love being on this journey with you and giving you this platform to just really talk about everything in like more detail. Because as we were saying earlier, it's like you could do a video on your own of like a creative process, but it's really cool to be in conversation and kind of like go back and forth and have that dialogue going on.
Absolutely. And it really allows me to kind of strip the layers to things that I probably wouldn't necessarily think to talk about too. So I thank you for asking great questions and again, for having me on.
Yes. Love having you on the show. You're amazing, Amanda. Best of luck with everything. So excited to see all the other, responses and people reaching out to you about how this song has touched them. And please, please, please come back when you're ready to drop the next one.
Yes, no, absolutely. And again, I would love to come back on because the next one is that's what that one is.
Oh, I love it. So, guys, if you're new here, I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live. Please make sure to like this video, give it a follow. And if you don't know Amanda, please make sure to stream the music. Go see her in August at Poughkeepsie. What's the date again?
August 23rd.
August 23rd, which is a couple weeks away. It's a huge festival, right? One day festival.
One day festival. Yup. At I think it's called Plan Breeze Brewery in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Fun. Yeah. So if you're in New York or the surrounding areas, make sure to make that trip. And thank you so much again, Amanda. It's always a pleasure having you on. So very grateful for your support. And if you're watching and you like this video, I'm grateful for your support here as well. Please continue to support good musicians, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thank you.